All right, folks, Yishai Fleisher here. Something I'm very concerned about is the narrative war. You may have heard me mention it here on this channel, the narrative war. The narrative war is the international effort to besmirch Israel's name, and it's another front in the war against Israel. So I'm very concerned about the narrative war, and that's in part why I do this stuff on social media. It's because I think that we need to get Israel's truth out there and to give strength to our friends and lovers. What does the narrative war try to do? I made a list. The narrative war seeks to motivate Israel's haters by portraying the Jewish state as a genocidal monster. You've heard the refrain, Israel's a murderous, genocidal, occupier, apartheid, all that business. Conversely, another goal of the narrative war is to show that the Jewish state is on the verge of defeat. That's to get the Jihad motivated and excited to destroy Israel because we're almost done. At the same time, the narrative war seeks to deflate friends of Israel by casting doubt on Israel's rights or its morality, okay? You don't feel comfortable supporting Israel because Israel in your society is considered bad because the narrative war has been successful. Furthermore, their narrative war aims to dissuade would-be natural allies from standing proudly with the Jewish state. Okay, so you're like a Poland or a Hungary or whatever it is, or you're an NRA card-carrying member, whatever the reason is, you have a natural affinity because of the Bible, because of values, because you love Israel, to stand with Israel, but you're embarrassed to do it because it's not cool. And most importantly, the narrative war creates the next generation of anti-Israel proponents. And that's exactly what the narrative war is out there doing. But today, I was in the Knesset, and this is like, you'll see, it's like my first outing after surgery, to receive a prize from Knesset member Illouz from the Likud, who wanted to honor the narrative warriors, the folks that are out there on the front lines of this battle, the battle for Israel's image. So let's go together to the Knesset. Here's the first video that I made of myself walking into the Knesset. Fleisher here, one of my first outings since the hospital. I'm going to the Knesset, and that's because a Knesset member, Illouz from the Likud, has decided that the folks who fight for the Israel narrative, a lot of amazing people, deserve recognition. So I can't believe it, but I'm one of those people, and I'm here with my family today, going into the Knesset, going to hang out with a lot of awesome spokesmen, awesome folks who are making a tremendous difference out there in terms of the Israel narrative, Baruch Hashem. So we're in the capital of the Jewish state, in Yerushalayim, at the Knesset, going to receive an award. But you know what? Let's not let it go to our heads. There's still a big fight ahead of us, and there's a lot more that we have to do in order to get the Israel narrative out there strong. All right, let's go in together. Let's check it out. Bezrat Hashem. Okay, so that was me going into the Knesset. There's the Knesset building. You could see it. And then we got to hear from none other than the Speaker of the House, Amir Ohana, and he had very strong words, which I recorded.
And women setting the standard in the struggle for truth and justice. For the pro-Israel community, this high-profile gathering represents the online dream team, and for those peddling lies and hate, the ultimate nightmare. Like millions of others, I've seen you all online, but it's something else completely to meet you all in person, to meet the heroes behind the handles, the courageous defenders of the feed. Your work is nothing less than vital. You fight like lions for our soldiers, whose unmatched sacrifice is met with baseless slander. And you fight for our hostages, languishing in the unimaginable brutal captivity of Hamas terrorists. We all want to see them home with their families and loved ones. It's an uphill, asymmetrical fight. For Jews, it usually is. But fresh off from celebrating the miracles of Hanukkah, we know that overwhelming odds only set the scene for an even more thrilling victory. Back in those days, the daring followers of David vanquished a vast Goliath empire. They proved quantity has its place, but quality matters more. That metal exceeds muscle. Spirit is stronger than the sword. This is the legacy you carry forward. You are modern day media Maccabees, ensuring the Hashmonaim legacy lives on for millennia more. In an age where facts are blurred and lies travel literally at light speed, you put your names and careers on the line for truth. You are a cyber Iron Dome, intercepting misinformation and blowing lies out of the sky. You fight for those on the fence to protect them from the next misleading headline or post, and to rescue them from the echo chambers of ignorance. What makes your work even more remarkable is the diversity of backgrounds, perspectives, and political views that you all represent. You come from different walks of life, from all corners of the political spectrum. Yet, as the warriors of the IDF put aside their differences to defend their brethren, so have you. You prove that disparities fade in the face of our loyalty to justice, truth, and one another. That in our highest priorities, we all align for Israel, for the Jewish people, and for truth.
Okay, so that was at the Knesset. You had their speaker, Amir Ohana, I think laying out a great argument for what he calls being media Maccabees and how important it is to fight the lies out there. I got to also interview short interviews of some of the leading lights, faces that you probably already know. The first one is Hillel Fuld. He's one of the greats of Israel advocacy and Israel high tech. So I got a chance to schmooze with him. Let's see what he says. Hillel Fuld, receiving an award today for your important social media work at the Voice of Israel. Are we winning out there?
Depends how you define victory. If you're saying, are we outnumbering them? Are we louder than them? Clearly not, and that is not how I define victory. To me, the fact that they lie, you know the question, when do Palestinians lie? The answer, when they open their mouth, right? They're constantly lying, and it begs the question, if they have a true narrative, and if their identity is true, why do they have to lie all the time? So the fact that we stick to the truth, that we don't stoop to their level, to me is already victory. But there is a shift in our favor.
You know, what about cool? Are we cool out there? Are we managing to be cool?
I mean, listen, we're never going to appeal to the Gen Zers, you know, who are indoctrinated from age 0, you know, thinking everything's woke and everything. So we're never going to appeal to them. But the question is, do we even need to appeal to them? So again, it depends how you define the word cool. To me, I think we're the coolest, right? I mean, what's cooler than the Jewish nation, right? But we have a very confused world out there. So maybe they don't view us as cool.
Has October 7th changed the Israeli technological scene? Are we like sharper now? Are we more of fighting?
What does it say in Mitzrayim? The more the Egyptians persecuted the Israelites, the more they multiplied and flourished. That's our story, right? This year, Israel broke all records ever in M&A, meaning mergers and acquisitions. You'd think Israel would like come crashing down this year, but no, we flourish. They terrorize, we innovate.
Very good, Hillel Fuld. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's Hillel Fuld, and I mean, if you follow him, you know that he's really one of the geniuses of Israeli tech, and is a great and strong voice for Israel. Michael Dickson is from Stand With Us, which is one of the most powerful organizations out there in terms of fighting for Israel's narrative, and I got a chance to speak with him. Executive Director at Stand With Us. Kol hakavod on all your amazing work all over the world and campus. What's a winning brand for Israel these days?
The true story. This is our indigenous ancestral homeland, our justice, our rights. That's what Israel embodies. That's our story. It needs to infuse absolutely everything we do, everything we say. And as long as we stick strong to that, we're good.
And do you feel like we're winning out there, like on campus? You're out on campus. Your organization is.
Sure. Well, I have a feeling things are going to get better this year from campus, first of all.
Because of the Trump administration?
Because of the incoming administration, because of the realization to ordinary Americans of what the anti-Israel, anti-Semitic hate represents to them. They have a skin in the game. So we need to say to all people of goodwill, Christians, Jews, moderate Muslims, all our friends around the world, they have a skin in the game. In Israel being secure, in Israel being at peace, in Israel doing what it needs to do to fight the good fight. and they need to fight alongside us.
October 7th, are we stronger since then?
I think we're stronger. I think we're more resilient. It must never, ever happen again, but we only need to get stronger than that.
Michael Dickson, stay with us. Thank you very much and congratulations.
God bless. Thank you.
And I really like the point that he made there, which is that everybody, if they think about it deeply, actually have skin in the game to see Israel thrive and survive. Most freedom-loving peoples don't want to see the jihad take over. And so therefore, if you're a Hungary or a Poland, or if you're in the United States, you may very well think to yourself, I actually want to make sure that Israel wins and does not succumb to the jihad and is proud to be its ancestral, its ancient, its biblical self. Because if they can do that, then I could be myself. Speaking of biblical, one of the greatest brands that we have is Jerusalem. And I got to speak to the former deputy mayor of Jerusalem, Fleur Hassan, a good friend of mine. Getting a prize today, recognition for all of your amazing work on social media and around the world in not only getting out Israel's narrative, but also Israel's diplomacy, the relationships that you're building. So, are we winning out there?
We will win. I'm not sure if we're winning right now, but it's always hard before the actual victory. And I think more and more people are beginning to understand that we're fighting a global war. We're fighting a global war for Western civilization, that Israel has always been leading the right side of history. And even if they don't know that today, they will know this very, very soon, thanks to people like you also, Yishai, who tell truth every single day.
What's a successful brand that you've been able to articulate out there? What's like one of your favorite brands out there to give out as a card about Israel?
Well, you know, for many years I've been I've been pushing the brand of Yerushalayim.
Right.
Yerushalayim, the holy city, Yerushalayim, the diverse holy city, where we actually see Jews and Arabs living together every single day, the religions living together in 1 square kilometer in the old city. I'm not saying we don't have our problems, but if anybody see what coexistence actually looks like, Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, that's the best brand. Mitzion Titzeh Torah, from Zion, Torah comes out. Torah can mean many different things that fix the world.
Very good. Okay, Fleur Hassan, God bless you and congratulations.
God bless you, you too.
I love the brand Jerusalem, and sometimes the brand Jerusalem is stronger than the brand Israel, because Jerusalem is the spiritual capital of the world. And just being able to say to people, Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, where King David walked, the kind of goal of all humanity is to have a built Jerusalem so that we could all come and worship God in Jerusalem, spiritual capital of the world. Just that word itself, it's a holy word, Yerushalayim. It's where God makes his presence in this world. So I love that brand, and I think that she's absolutely right. She also does a great job of connecting with the UAE and the Abraham Accord countries. Speaking of connecting with the other, here's my spiritual brother, Josh Waller from Israel Guys, but he is a Gentile, pro-Israel lover of Israel from the nations. Well, guys,
yes,
congratulations on receiving the prize today. You're one of the few Gentiles, not the only one, by the way, who's receiving the prize today. But you're a pro-Israel Gentile with a very powerful channel out there. Are we winning out there in your circles and with the folks that think and feel like you do?
It's a really great question, Yishai, and I really don't know the exact detailed answer on that. I know that we're winning in some aspects. With the Trump administration obviously coming in, it's helping us. It's like we've got a lot of support coming. I'm not going to say we're doing our job the best that we could, though. We've got to up it. Now that we've got this administration, we've got a lot of key players coming in. What I want to see is us up our game. We're going to try to, with the Israel Guys, we're going to try to do a lot more. And I would like to see everyone do that. And I think this event is going to encourage more. And that's what I'm really excited about. We definitely have a lot of room to grow, all of us, Israel Guys included. And I'd hope that everybody here really takes this next 4 years of American, hopefully we see a lot of American support. And I would love to see us really bank on that and really grow the pro-Israel movement, especially in that niche Christian world in America that is keen to understand this message. And we've got to take advantage of where we're at right now.
Are we stronger or weaker after October 7th, brand-wise?
A lot stronger, and hopefully a lot more people will understand the real battle. And I think that's what October 7th did. People understood that Israel's really at an existential threat here. And we've got to continue letting people know that a lot of big things at stake here.
Josh Waller, God bless you, and congratulations on receiving this prize today of the Voice of Iron here at the Knesset.
It's a real honor.
All right, so notice that both Josh Waller and Michael Dickson mentioned the Trump administration The Trump administration, let's hope that indeed the hopes that it will subdue some of those anti-Israel voices and let Israel grow, let my people grow and be big and be strong, and not try to shrink Israel as so many other administrations have tried to do. All right, the initiator of this whole event at the Knesset today was Knesset member Dan Illouz. Illouz, right? There's the famous biblical city Luz, which became Bethel or Beit El. Dan Illouz, he's originally Canadian, he's Moroccan, he's got a very interesting background. He's a Likud Knesset member, and it was his show, it was his conference, it was his gathering, his award ceremony. So let's take a listen at what he had to say about why he gathered these 50 narrative warriors, these voice of iron during the Swords of Iron war that we are facing.
Gathered today in the Knesset to recognize a remarkable truth. Israel does not stand alone. In a world where lies spread faster than facts, and often where justice is twisted, there exists an army, not of soldiers, but of truth tellers. Today we honor 50 of them, but they are merely a sample of the thousands who have worked relentlessly, ensuring that Israel's truth is heard. On October 7th, Israel experienced a nightmare beyond imagination. Entire families were butchered. Children were torn from their parents, taken into captivity. Women were brutalized, their screams ignored by those who claim to champion human rights and women's rights. More Jews were murdered in a single day than on any day since the Holocaust. And yet, the fires of that massacre still burned. As the fires of that massacre still burned, another war began, a war of lies. Instead of condemning terror, too many excused it. Instead of standing with the victims, too many justified their murderers. The world turned reality upside down. But you refuse to let the truth be buried. You have fought on university campuses where intimidation and mob violence try to silence pro-Israel voices. You have fought on social media where truth is drowned by propaganda. You have fought in international organizations where anti-Israel bias is institutionalized. You have fought in the halls of parliaments worldwide, making sure that leaders hear the truth before they pass judgment. You have fought in the media, countering those who spread slander about the only democracy in the Middle East. Each of you has chosen courage over convenience, truth over popularity. You have risked jobs, friendships, reputations, even your personal safety. But because of you, Israel's voice has not been silenced. Because of you, Israel's legitimacy has not been erased. Because of you, our soldiers continue their mission with the knowledge that millions stand behind them. But while you have fought for truth, others have fought for terror. They call themselves sometimes progressives, while excusing the most regressive forms of barbarism. They call themselves academics, while parroting the most ignorant, ahistorical lies. They claim to stand for women's rights, yet they remain silent, while Israeli women were raped, tortured, and murdered. They chant for queer rights, yet they support Hamas, a group that throws gay people off rooftops. They claim to fight colonialism, yet they defend terrorists who invaded Jewish homes, slaughtered entire families, and kidnapped children. The so-called intellectual elites, the professors, the journalists, the activists, love to speak of oppression, privilege, and systemic injustice. But here's a fact they cannot erase. On October 7th, the most persecuted people in history were attacked once again. and the so-called champions of justice chose the side of the oppressors. Let's make one thing clear. History will not be kind to them. There are those who seek to frame Israel's right to exist as a matter of politics. But let me be clear. Supporting Israel is not about left or right. It's not about political ideology. It's about truth. It's about justice. It's about the fundamental right of a nation to defend its people against slaughter. What unites us is not politics but principle. The unwavering belief that terror must never be rewarded, evil must never be justified, and Israel, the homeland of the Jewish people, will never be alone.
All right, beautiful words from Danny Illouz. And he went on to say also that we are not thieves in our land. This is our ancestral homeland. And then Hillel Neuer from UN Watch was on a panel, and he said something that I really liked. He said, legitimacy equals security. If Israel's illegitimate, it's not secure. And our job, the narrative warriors, is to legitimize and to certainly push back against the delegitimizers. Finally, the shortest video of this whole thing is this. Okay, there I was being called up, shaking hands with Danny Illouz, and got my recognition as well. And it's an honor and a privilege and a gift to be able to talk Israel and to broadcast Israel with you, to broadcast God's vision, and to get out the idea that the best, most powerful force towards peace is a strong Israel. A strong Israel will bring peace and will bring more liberty and decency and opportunity to more people. A strong Israel. A weak Israel will empower the enemies of Israel, which are the enemies of liberty and freedom. If you like what we do, then please join us. Support us. Fightforisrael.org. Very simple. If you believe in Israel, you want to fight for Israel, and we do beautification, we do narrative war, we teach Torah around the world, and we help make Israel legitimate and cool at the same time, with sharing God's vision. So that's fightforisrael.org. Everything from tractors for farmers to broadcasting to beautification. That's what we do at fightforisrael.org. And so please help me out and be part of the great team of Fighting for Israel. And if you love what we broadcast here, then go to buymeacoffee.com/Yishai for a great way to show support for this programming. Thank you. And I also want to, before I finish this broadcast, I also want to thank my team for being very much part of the narrative war that we're putting out against the enemies of Israel. I couldn't do it alone. It's my great team that makes it happen. So God bless you guys, and God bless you folks, wherever you are. Stay tuned, stay strong, stay connected, stay part of the story. Keep broadcasting the truth of Israel, and shalom.